If I'm going to be miserable, everybody around me is going to be miserable too. And I know that's not the way to handle it. Well, I think for so long that you had to hide it. People suffered alone with going through menopause or this next chapter. So I love that you're helping women move through this because we don't have to silence it any. It doesn't have to be a quiet thing anymore. Bring it to
Not.
the forefront.
And just like you said, it is normal experience. At the same time, every journey is very unique. So each of us are very, very unique.
Buckle up for a new episode of the S.H.E podcast, the show where we have real and raw conversations to inspire and empower you to be seen and heard so you can create balance and everything you want in your life and business. I'm your host, Heidi, and I'm excited to walk alongside of you on this journey of being seen, heard, and empowered. Hello and welcome to another episode of the S.H.E podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I have an incredible guest here with me today. Her name is Jona Gudmunds, and we are going to dive into her challenges, what she does, how she helps people with her business, and some of the journey that she's been on herself. So Jona, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Heidi. I'm thrilled to be here and to have the opportunity to talk about my passion.
I am as well. And before we do that, Jona, I'm just going to share a little bit of information about you, some background, and then we're going to dive in. So Jona Gudmunds, founder of Prolific Coaching, is an award-winning entrepreneur and global coach with over 20 years of experience, empowering women to thrive in their health, careers, and personal lives. Recognized with entrepreneurial honors for creating innovative programs that inspire transformation, Jona has a proven track record of helping women achieve sustainable, life-changing results. As a former therapist and director, Jona brings unmatched depth and versatility to her coaching. Her philosophy centers on helping women show up consistently for themselves, not just to manage life's hurdles, but to thrive, build resilience, and step into their fullest potential. I am all about that. So I'm really excited to chat with you today. So Jona, my first question for you is launching your business. You're moving from therapist now into entrepreneur and more into the coaching space, mentorship space. Like, was this something that you had a journey, even moving into therapy to begin with? Was this path that you took because of a journey that you had been on in your past? Or is this something that you just had a passion for and a skill set for, and you decided, you know what, I'm going to go into this type of field of work?
I think it was a mixture of everything you mentioned, actually.
Okay.
And I started to work serving people when I was 16 years old, hired for mistake. I was supposed to be 18 years old to serve people with disabilities.
Mm.
So ever since that, I have always had passion to empower people and help them to take back their agency. So that is my field, and I decided to educate myself. In the past 20 years ago, I took both social work and psychology. That is my master degree, and also education. So I have a mixture of many things.
So what made you move from in the therapy space into now the entrepreneur? I mean, I'm sure that therapy was somewhat entrepreneurial, but what made you move into more of this with your coaching business from there to here?
Yes, I really, last probably 5 years, I've been focusing on behavior neuroscience.
Okay.
And I really wanted to give my audience, give my clients the best powerful tools. And here in America, we're a little bit still in with the insurance and the policy. You're not supposed to step out of certain box, and they are always a little bit behind, isn't it? So
Okay.
I really wanted to give my clients and my audience the best practical tools to apply to really thrive. And we have to say that midlife women aren't getting the focus or attention that we should have. we are going through enormous changes, both biologically and biochemistry and psychologically. So I thought this is my niche, this is my group. I want to invest my time and my energy.
Yeah, I love that you said that because in the box, like you're kept in a box when you're under certain, rules and regulations, which they're in place for a reason, right? But that
Yeah.
being said, there are a lot of things that could help people in all different scopes of their health and in different ways and possibly faster being outside of that box a little bit. So you focus on women in midlife and whatever age you are listening to this, especially if you're younger or in midlife, this is for you especially. But if you're younger and you're hearing, oh, she helps people in midlife, you want to listen to this because when I was younger, I'm in midlife now, I'm 52. When I was younger, I was like, oh, that doesn't matter to me. Like that'll never happen to me. And I promise you, it will all happen to you.
Yes.
It's just the way of our bodies and the way of our cells and our hormones, the things that are going to shift and change. It's inevitable. So it will happen to you too. And like for me, I joke with everybody that talks to me. I have no problem talking about hot flashes and midlife and menopause. I went into menopause early, and I know that's not the sole focus of this, but I went into menopause early. I was probably 47. I think that's early, like for many women, or 45. Oh, there are people that go in before 40, but I didn't know anybody at that time that was going through it. I didn't even know I was going through it because I was just getting hot flashes. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going through it. But I didn't go to a doctor to like check it out until later on. And she's like, oh, you are full on in menopause. And I'm like, oh, that explains the hot flashes. I had them for about a year and a half or 2 years. And it was like, everything was off. You go from fine to not fine in the middle of, that's why they call it hot flashes. In the midst of a flash, you are fine to not fine. And I joke, because I'm like, when I have a hot flash, everybody in my vicinity is going to know about it. I am not shy about it. I'm like, oh no, here it is.
And just like you
Sweater
said,
is off. And then I go, and then 5 minutes later, I'm freezing. And my daughter's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm normal. I'm normal. And I'm like, this is what you're going to deal with when you're 52 too. She's 15, so she's a long way to go. But I joke because I'm like, if I'm going to be miserable, everybody around me is going to be miserable too. And I know that's not the way to handle it. I make a joke out of it because I'm like, there's too many people, I think, for so long that you had to hide it. People suffered alone with going through menopause or this next chapter. So I love that you're helping women move through this because we don't have to silence it, and it doesn't have to be a quiet thing anymore. And
no,
so it's great that
absolutely
you're bringing it to
not.
the forefront.
And just like you said, it is normal experience. But at the same time, every journey is very unique. I go through a different symptom, and the third person is completely different from us. So each of us are very, very unique. Some people can have headaches, some people have joint pains. So there's so much. And just like you said, we are struggling to align with our outside environment and relationship, and it goes everywhere what is going on inside of us. And you said I went early in menopause, so we say that the average age is from 45 to 55 to be in
Okay.
menopause, but 10 years before that, our female bodies start to prepare, and that is perimenopause. Most of the time, the 3 last years are the hardest one, where the more fluctuation is on estrogen or progesterone is really getting low. So we have more symptoms the 3 last years. But I really want to emphasize this is very unique journey.
So, basically, women, when you're going through this, you have friends that are going through it too. And we may not understand it because, like you just said, everybody has different symptoms. Everybody may react differently to it. So, just understand if you have friends for you listening and you're going through this or about to move through this. And I don't know what my perimenopause was or not. I mean, my son was born, I think I was 38 or 39. So I was still at that, and then right after that, a miscarriage. So I was probably 40, 41, and that's probably where I was starting, right? Because that's possibly why, I don't know. But just because somebody has one, like I have the hot flashes. I don't know that I have anything else. Maybe I get cranky. I'm a single mom, so it's not like I have a live-in partner. A lot of people have different symptoms like you shared. So just don't compare your journey. Just like we say in entrepreneurship, right, Yona? Don't compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, which I always talk about all the time. Don't compare where you are in your health with menopause to someone else's, even if it's your best friend, your sister, or whatever, your mother. Everybody's journey is different. And also check out all your options. What I love that you have available outside of the box, per se, because I know that, some people that are going through it, they choose hormonal treatments. That may not be right for everyone. So just because somebody says, "Oh, I'm doing this, you should do it too," make sure you're checking out all your options. So
Yeah.
what do you say about that, Yona?
And also because hormonal treatment isn't fixing everything during menopause. For example, it's not helping us to keep our muscle mass. It's not helping us to have strong bones. It can help you with, for example, hot flashes. It can help you a little bit with the mood. So there's many things it can help. But if we women are empowered to have the best holistic tools to apply during that. And we might want to have also hormonal replacement therapy with us in our toolkit. One does not disclude another. So we really want to make it because we have different life, we have different values, we have different lifestyle. So it has to fit us, no matter what the science says. It's so great for you to apply this. If you cannot apply certain diet or certain exercise because you have maybe injury, you're not going to do it. So you have to get another resources, isn't it?
So tell us about how you walk someone through the journey. Like when somebody was to come to you or you have a client, how do you move them through the journey and how do you help a woman that comes to you? And I think your program, it's through your prolific coaching. So can you tell us
Yes.
more about that?
Yes, my company name is Prolific Coaching, and I'm on all social media, and that is my marketing platform. And I'm gonna go into YouTube also. But I meet women where they are, where what is going on. Just like your name of the podcast, here's and be seen and empowered. It's so important to validate what the woman is going through, to understand and help her to increase her self-awareness. That is most important. So she understand what's going on, so she can apply certain tools. So we might, for some women, work on the nutrition and exercise. For other women, we might work on a different kind of things. Maybe she's very stressed out, she's anxious. So we are more working on a cognitive behavioral approach with mindfulness, with meditation, how to calm down and how can really help her to improve because she doesn't have the strong hormone of progesterone. The progesterone has the role of making us calm because it's affecting our another like that. It makes our brain feel under control. So, for example, we might help that woman to break her stressful period by taking a walk, mindfulness walk, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, depending on her schedule. So there are so many small tweaks that can give women a huge results.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I know that I talked to you before we hit record. I wanted to talk into the women body and how you help women, especially when it comes to menopause. So that's near and dear to my heart because I'm going through it myself. And I think that there's not enough people talking about it or enough access to people like you that can help women. I think that we're kind of, like you said, in the box when it comes to what the medical team may say about it. That being said, I also want to talk into you building a business as an entrepreneur. So, and I know that, we want to, like, you have a lot to share about that as well, because you've been on your journey. You're not from the US and you moved here. So can you share a little bit about your background and how you got started and where you're from and how you came into the US?
Yes, so you probably hear that I have a strong accent. So I'm from Iceland, Northern
So
Europe.
cool. I want
Yeah.
to go there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And that country has taught my older generation really to be tough, to survive. And, so that is part of, the weather and hard condition to live there. The darkness in the December is very hard on people, moods and all that. Then I decided after a very successful career and helping the city of Reykjavik, that is the capital city, to create powerful, that was one of my entrepreneur projects, to create community-based mental health care for people with mental disabilities. After doing that for 10 years, it took 10 years because I really wanted to make sure it would work, would be effective, and people would be able to get into the community and be part of it. So after that, I totally decided to get out of my own box. I was there probably 45 years old, and I decided to move to Saudi Arabia, of all places.
Wow, that's a big
And
jump. Big leap.
that taught me a lot. I was lucky to be a part of super strong um, professional people in American International School of Riyadh. And I was changing for them their health education, both for teachers and for students. And that really hit my passion again, because I'm all in holistic approach when it comes to health. And after that, I got opportunity to come here to US, here to Arizona. I love the dry heat. It's
Yeah, you're going from Iceland,
yes,
Saudi Arabia, right? And then Arizona. What a
yes.
contrast. Big contrast.
And it's not only contrast in weather, it's so different culture everywhere.
Cultures. Yeah, cultures.
Yes. And
Amazing.
and one other thing, because I think you are interested in knowing what I have, experienced when I'm building up these tasks or projects, is that it is often our mindset, our lens, how our values and beliefs is affecting us, cooperation, or how we understand each other, and how we really can visualize what we want to accomplish. So I'm here now in the dry desert of Arizona, and I'm building my business, and I'm going through challenges myself in that, because I have most of the time be a leader or therapist or director or teacher. So now being a coach means that I have to all of a sudden understand what marketing is about.
Mm.
And that put me in a little bit, uncomfortable position, because this is something new, and my brain is using old tools that it doesn't work in marketing. You
Right.
cannot be a director, you cannot use that skill set. So I have to really step back, use my self-awareness, and ask myself, how can I really optimize my goals with these new resources and toolkits that I'm learning to apply?
Mm. So you mentioned challenges, not only with, you starting this project that you had in Iceland that you worked on for 10 years. I'm sure there were challenges that came up there. And then
Oh,
now, then your move to Saudi Arabia, I'm sure you had challenges there. And then moving to Arizona, to another completely other country, um, with different experiences, different cultures, different weather in each of your locations. So you're not, you're not new to challenges. And
no.
you're not new to fear, obviously. I'm sure a lot of fear has come up in that process as well. And, I want to talk into that because I want the women listening to, like, you're such a great story of empowerment and taking chances and taking risks and stepping out of your comfort zone, getting outside of the box, right? Leaving that box and getting outside of it in many different ways, not only with leaving therapy and moving into entrepreneurship, because you wanted to help women in a bigger way, right? A bigger way, like things that maybe you were tied into with the rules and regulations. You wanted to step out of that and help people, women in a bigger way, and things that could help them maybe get further faster in their health journey. But also, navigate the differences in growing like the challenges you had in your business. What is any of the fear that have come up when you decided to make that pivot from your therapy business job into entrepreneurship and coaching? What were the fears that came up against or that showed up for you? And then how did you move through that fear?
So, for example, it's just sometimes practical, the income of it. I want to have a steady income. I had a great income before, and I want to have a steady income. Then we have all kind of this entrepreneur typical mindset. Is my voice strong enough, or can I fully stand by what I'm saying all the time? Can I help people? And then being on online as a platform is totally different than being face to face with people. So there are many, all kind of anxious thought that comes up in my mind. And when you go on a social media, there's so much buzz there, it's like, and you easily, because how our neurotransmitter dopamine works, you want to chase the newest trend. Am I missing something? So it's all about using your self-awareness, really be able to stay focused. That is the only thing. You really will succeed if you hold on to your focus, your call, and you are alert. So how do we balance that? And many people don't like the term self-care. It's many people think, oh, it's boring. But especially women from 40 years old and up, our sleep is so important, and we have mastered to kind of put our needs behind someone else. We're taking care of our kids, we're taking care of older parents and just the family needs. So this is the time we really have to learn to prioritize our basic needs for sleep, for physical activity. And so many women that I help, they are first reluctant in the beginning, say, oh, I don't want to exercise too much. That's just boring. Or I don't want to do cold plunge any longer or something. But when they get into use to train with these tools and feel the kind of the result of it, that is what is going to make it sustainable. This is the tool that they really want to get into. It's not any longer about hitting your goal. It is just like your powerful framework, so to speak. And most of my women put their standard. They say, it doesn't matter how much busy I'm going to be this week, I'm at least going to hit the gym twice. Because that is my stress management. That is my time. So it's very, very powerful how we can go through this biology to reach our goal in the outside environment.
So what would you say was your biggest challenge when you started your business?
It is definitely marketing.
Marketing. Yeah, you brought that up. Yeah, marketing. Okay. And how are you navigating now?
How to make sure that my voice is unique, who I am, and not to follow specific trends just to get more hit or likes, and be there for my menopause isn't sexy concept, but it is so important. And I'm not sure, for example, that women know that so many of medical health is developed by testing it on men and just then transfer that result to women. But we are not small men. So
no, that doesn't work. Yeah, no.
So for example, we have for many, many years thought that statin medication to lower blood fat or cholesterol is working in a similar way for women and men. No, absolutely not. It does not work for midlife women who are going either perimenopause or postmenopause. it is actually making it worse. It is increasing your insulin resistance. And we know that today that from 2020, American Heart Association have given those information. But unfortunately, there are still medical people who are subscribing statin medication for women.
Wow. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. You can't treat men like women and vice versa, especially when it comes to menopause or like you said, anything. It's just
Yeah.
different. We're made differently. We're set up differently. So what was your biggest fear when you were starting? Or do you have any fears that you're moving through now as we're talking?
Yeah. And I also want to emphasize that many women think that menopause is just the transition, hot flashes, bad sleep that is temporary. I really want to emphasize that it is so much more. It's post-menopause. We don't have these hormone any longer. And even though we use hormonal replacement therapy, that it can be helpful, it's not doing the same thing as our hormonal because all our cells are also changing. So we really have to navigate in a different way so we don't have brain fog, we don't develop Alzheimer, we don't develop heart disease. And we know that research show that women are going to gain more weight, visceral fat, that is the bad one around our stomach, 20 to 30% just by hitting menopause.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there are so many important changes that we are going after postmenopause. Our mood, everything is changing, and we just act like nothing is happening.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
the post-menopause experience that we cannot stay silent and not kind of validate this after in our life because we don't have the same. This is when we are menopause, it's our first day of the rest of our life. And that is the condition we have. So we better understand how to be resourceful, how to be resilient and continue to grow. We are not accepting, oh, I'm just old and my life is over. No.
yeah, no, there's so many more chapters to come.
Yeah.
The menopause thing, I think that we think, like, I don't know enough about it, and I'm in it, and I still don't know enough about it. Like, I didn't know, okay, post-menopause, okay, now there's more to come on the other side of it. Once I'm through it, oh, then life is going to be easy and great again. And now you're sharing, like, there's more things coming. It's not necessarily bad. It's just the next phase, the next chapter. But the more information and knowledgeable you are, knowledge is power, and the more knowledge we have about it and understanding about it, then when we get there, it's not like it's not like it's something slamming us in the face. Where preparation is always key. So that's why I said at the beginning of this, if you're younger than, menopausal stages, and whether you're coming up into it or you're much younger, like, it's not a bad thing to know about it now, because when you get there, it's not going to be such a shock like it was for many of us because it wasn't talked about. Nobody
Yes.
talks about it. So that's
Yes.
why I really think this is an important conversation, because we're bringing it to the forefront. We're talking about it more. I do hear more things about it, but it's still not enough. It's nowhere
Yes,
near
it's
where it
still
needs to be.
not enough. And if we think about it, research on health, that it's lower than 10% that goes into female health and only 0.8% into midlife women's health. Because most of the money goes into reproduction, having children, preparing that, and fertilize and all that kind of thing that belongs to female's health also. But we are so little thing into menopause and what is happening in midlife.
Yeah. So can you give something? Okay, so I know there's a lot of different symptoms you shared. Everybody experiences this different. It's not like every woman, like you and I may have had completely different experiences with menopause. Me and a friend of mine may have had completely different experiences than my grandmother and I could have had completely different experiences. So what would you say for somebody? Can you give some tips or some suggestions for somebody that maybe falling into the hot flash stage or the weight gain stage or symptom, not stage, but symptom,
Yeah.
or maybe the personal relationship. There's things that can affect personal relationship. Like, can you give some suggestions on what we could do to support us if we're going through that specific type of those three? Let's talk about those
Yeah.
three. Brief, not nothing deep, but
No.
something brief that could help these women go, okay, I'm not crazy. Like,
Yes, they're definitely not crazy. First of all, what they have all in common, they need to create their own space. This is not something that they want to isolate themselves and be quiet and get tiny in. No, they have to create space and awareness of what is going on. Try to get material. There's so many great people talking about menopause. Follow me, for example, and get a lot of information. But you have to prioritize sleep. If you are not sleeping well, you cannot, for example, lose weight. The weight that is adding on, if you are adding on more than you want, if you're not sleeping, you have to prioritize sleep because that is the half of the equation, the recovery. So, for example, if you want to continue to hold on to your muscle mass and you don't sleep well, you are struggling to build up muscle. And if you're not building muscle, you don't have a good energy for the next day. So sleep is so important, ladies. Please prioritize that. Then number two, prioritize your protein. That is going to help you both with the energy. It's going to help you with your muscle mass. It's going to help you with your cognition and your mood because protein is the building blocks for everything. And you really need it in this stage of life when you don't have any longer estrogen and progesterone. Progesterone is the hormone that makes you calm and focus, and estrogen is the, oh, I'm going to have a party tonight. It's the sister that is energetic. So you have to think about how can I balance these two things with powerful tools. So sleep, physical activity, and I recommend that women start to learn to lift weight. Go to the gym and learn to lift weights and do it through strength. Don't have it light and do many reps. Do few reps and heavy reps because that is going exactly into your mitochondrial health. And that is your powerhouse battery to give you energy, to help you with your mood, to help you with everything. So that is important. Nutrition, prioritize fiber and protein. And the last one, relationship. Make sure that you are able to talk to your husband or your best friend of what is going on. This is the time that seeking support is going to help you because they are reflecting, they're not solving anything, but they are reflecting what they sense, what you are going through, and that help you to increase your self-awareness.
Those are all great points. And I didn't know about the protein. So that's amazing because I know I can get tired in the middle of the day and I'll think about, okay, what did I eat? And I'm like, well, that wasn't really good to eat. It makes you so tired. My typical sleep routine is probably about 4 hours straight and then I wake up. So, and I think that's common for many women. And I'll get hot flashes in the middle of the night where I'm like, I'm sleeping comfortably and then I'm like, like it has to all come off, like the blankets and I throw them. And
That is
so,
the reason you wake up.
I'm sorry.
And that is the reason you wake up.
That's one of the reasons I wake. Yeah. And then there's other times where I wake up and I'm like, what time is it? I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to bed at 9:30. It's only 12:30. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now. It feels like I slept the entire night and
Yeah.
it's only midnight, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll wake up at 2:30 and go, should I just get up or should I try to go back to sleep?
Rising thoughts, isn't it? It's like they're just rising and rising and you don't have any control.
Right. So, what are ways? Because I think this is common for many women. Like, it's great to say we need to get more sleep and prioritize sleep, but what if you're not sleeping? So, what are the things that we could do to help us sleep better?
Yeah. So, just like we said, our sleep architecture is changing. It's changing. It's like your architecture, if you're changing, you rearrange your furniture. it is changing. So you have to understand that it's not just something that is gonna go away. It is changing forever. And you can help yourself, just like you're navigating a new furniture in your living room, you can help yourself by sleep hygiene routine. Build a good routine before you go to bed. And it have to be sustainable. Don't try to do something that you know that you're only gonna follow 2 days and then it's off. So it have to be sustainable. We know about the light effects, dim the lights, don't binge on the television, rather take a 5 minutes walk or do some stretching, something that is healing you, make you feel good. It could be putting a body lotion on yourself, put your favorite skincare, comb your hair, whatever it is, it's making this routine that you feel good. You feel calm when you go to bed. You're not too excited.
Right.
So sleep hygiene is one. There are many things that, for example, breathe technique. If you learn to specific breathe that I teach my women, they can apply it when they wake up. It's very often. I don't know why the reason it is that we wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, it's very
Frustrating. It's very
yeah,
frustrating. I'm a sleeper. I was always a sleeper. And now I'm like waking up in the middle, and then I'm wondering if I can go back to sleep. And I'm like, okay, my brain says you should not be up right now.
yeah.
Right. So
It's
it's
so
very
exciting.
frustrating. Yes.
Yeah, you have so many creative thoughts and what's going on. You just want to follow it. But if we train ourselves at the daytime, breathing specific technique, we can apply that when we wake up 3 o'clock and see if that is helping. For many women, it helps. For other women, it doesn't help. So we have also very powerful supplement. I always support my women to take creatine, the sports supplement. It also helps you to build muscle and your mitochondria, the energy, but it also helps you to sleep better. And then we have a specific supplement like ashwagandha and rhodiola that is helping you because the progesterone is low and is helping you to build the calmness that the progesterone did. So for women who are seeking HRT, that is supposed to help them. Sometimes they have to work with the medical team how to maybe instead of taking pills, progesterone pills, they might benefit more with progesterone oil underneath the tongue because it's differently how the body is working on it. So there are so many strong tools that we have and will help you to rest and sleep. We just have to figure out what is your unique biology liking mostly. So for example, one woman I was helping, the only thing that really, really helped her after we did so many things was putting CBD cream underneath her feet. That was helping her to sleep. And she said, "Oh, I absolutely love that we finally found something." Her progesterone HRT therapy wasn't helping her with it.
Right. And I want to wrap up because I want to be cognizant of your time and respectful, but I just think this has been amazing. So I just want to first say thank you, Jona, for being here and sharing all of your wisdom. This is a really exciting topic for me. I don't know if exciting is the right word, but it is exciting for me because it's something I'm moving through personally. So I know it's going to help other women as well. It's not solely focused on business here, which is this, we talk about business a lot, but I also want to empower and help women in other ways. And you kind of bring that all together here, which is fantastic. And so the biggest takeaway that I have from this, and one of the biggest, there's many, protein was big for me. And I think we just, as women, we're all unique and different. As humans, we're unique and different. And everything is about testing. And I always say this to my clients with their business. I tell you something to do, and we need to tweak it and test it, right? Your messaging is testing, your offers are testing. Most people are not going to launch one offer and out of the gate, it's going to make them their $1 million or their 6 figures, whatever they're looking for. It's testing and tweaking. And the same thing about what you're sharing. When it comes to your health, just because something is working for some other woman that you know, your friend, your mother, your grandmother, your sister, doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So just understand that this is a journey. Don't compare your journey to someone else's journey, whether in business or in your health or in your relationships. What's working for one person doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. So I think that was a big, powerful message, Yona, and I'm really grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful for your time. I do have a question for you. You shared your move, and I didn't prep you with this question. Typically, I prep my guests, but I forgot to before we hit the record button, just to be honest. But I think you can handle it. And maybe it's what you've already shared. I don't know. But is there a fun fact about you, Yona, behind the scenes of Yona, that we wouldn't know through your expertise and seeing you online and just, working with you as a client? Like, or is there some fun fact that of, behind the
Yeah,
scenes
I
of
think
Yona?
so. So, and that reflects on your summary, being resilient and go through. And remember, it's just a storm, and all storm will stop. So, when I was in high school, and this is a fact that people don't know, I'm dyslexic, and
Wow.
yeah, and at that time, because I'm 55, nobody knew what dyslexia was,
Yeah.
and I was struggling learning language. And one of the hardest language was English. And
Crazy.
I was so struggling. And I said to my friend, oh, I don't care. It's just about passing this course because I'm never going to speak English ever again.
And look at you, you're living in the States. Crazy in
Yes.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Craziness. That's an awesome story and a fun fact. And thank you for sharing that. Okay, Yona, how can we find you? And I know that you want to share a gift with our audience. So what do you have to share with them?
Yes, you find me on Prolific Coaching. I have a website. You find me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And next week, I'm going to offer specifically your audience to join me in a masterclass called The Next Chapter. It's just 1 hour, one evening that they can sign up for and learn how to get the best tool, how they can optimize and thrive in midlife.
Amazingness. So you definitely want to grab that. We will have the link. We have the link in the show notes. Go to the show notes, grab the link for the masterclass. Also, go follow Yona. Her name is spelled Jona, not Yona, Jona. And make sure that you find her on social media and you follow her. Reach out to her. To Jona Gudmunds. Her last name is Gudmunds. I love the spelling of your names,
Thank you.
Yona. It's been such a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for your time. I've learned so much. There's so much more that I want to talk about, but we just don't have the time, which doesn't happen too often with these interviews. So I really, really appreciate all of your wisdom, and all of your interestingness. I have one more question. So I'm a Hallmark movie buff. I love the Christmas Hallmark movies. And when we're recording this, it is in December. We're setting up for Christmas and the holidays here. We celebrate Christmas. And I get into the holiday. I don't watch TV, but Hallmark, I watch it. I love the magic of Christmas and the romance of it. And they have had a couple movies set in Iceland. And I've always wanted to go to that ice hotel. Yes, the ice hotel. And so would you, if anybody's listening, and for me to put on my bucket list,
Yeah.
what would you say would be a place that we should visit if we go to Iceland?
So, and that is once again, depending on your needs.
Mm,
But most of the people who come to Iceland, they are looking for adventure, beautiful nature. Because I live now in Arizona and I love heat, I would go in the summertime.
mm.
Uh, then you don't see the northern light, but I would say then you see my country in the most beautiful light. You can even play golf during the night. You can
Wow.
play golf at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yes.
Wow.
And
Okay.
we have waterfalls. We have now it's currently a lot of volcanoes going on there, but everything is safe there. People love Blue Lagoon, but if you are in the nature, go during the summertime, travel into the middle of the country, hike, enjoy the freedom because we are just 350,000 people up there. Can you believe that? And you can have a space for yourself where nobody is.
Wow, that's amazing. She's telling you to go to Iceland in the summer. Isn't that interesting? So yes, thank you so much for this, Yona. This has been such a joy and such a pleasure for me. I'm so grateful for your time. And for you listening, thank you for joining us today and meeting Yona. Make sure you reach out to her, especially if you are hitting premenopause, if you are in menopause or perimenopause is what they call it, right? Pre, not
Yeah,
pre,
very robust.
menopause, or you're moving into post. She is your woman. She's your person. Reach out to her. There's so much more she gets to share. We just unfortunately ran out of time today. So thank you again, Yona, so much.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest. It was a pleasure, and my best to your audience. Good luck.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us today on the Be She podcast. I'll see you on the next episode. In the meantime, be empowered to be seen and heard.